Hi, and welcome to the UOW update for Week 4 Autumn Session. I'm Adrian. We've all seen the catastrophic images of the earthquake and tsunami that hit Japan, and many of us have been asking, what can we do to help? Here's something to consider. The UOW Japan Society is holding a fundraising event on Tuesday. It's hoped the event will also raise awareness of those affected by the natural disaster.
We're going to be standing outside of the main library and we'll be collecting donations for 5 hours from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. that day. At least 1,000, that's our realistic and primary goal. So whatever, if we exceed that, then it'll be great. This is a very catastrophic event that happened to Japan, not just for the Japanese, but for the whole of humanity. This is such a devastating event. So we really hope that we can get a lot of support, not just from the Aussies, but people from all over the world. And because UOW is such an international campus with so many people from different backgrounds, we hope that we can set up a venue where all of the people from around the world can help us and to help the people of Japan.
Meanwhile, the field research team from the School of Earth and Environmental Sciences is all too familiar with such seismic hazards. PhD student Nathan Jankowski is one of 11 who have just returned from a geological field trip to the South Island of New Zealand, where they investigated active tectonic processes, only 5 days before a large earthquake would devastate Christchurch.
So we actually organised a field trip for a number of students to actually go over to New Zealand and have a look at the geology, because it's so different to what we've got here in Australia. The Alpine Fault in New Zealand is quite a spectacular thing to look at. And also other sort of quaternary sorts of things, so glacial landscapes, because we've got none here in Australia, we've got no evidence for them, and they're really quite something special to look at. So one of the things we actually did do was to go along the fault trace that the recent earthquakes in Christchurch have actually associated with. Japan and New Zealand are sort of in a similar sort of situation. They're where two tectonic plates are actually colliding together. So you get similar sorts of things happening in New Zealand that you do in Japan, but you can't really link one to the other.
The prospect of running a marathon is a daunting one for most of us, but not Deborah de Williams. The breast cancer survivor is running around Australia to raise research funds and awareness. Last week, Deborah and her dog Maggie took a small breather in the Crown Street Mall and spoke with UOW TV.
On the 15th of March 2006, exactly 5 years ago today, I sat across from my doctor and my doctor said, "Deborah, that lump you have in the right breast is breast cancer." And I said, well, instead of focusing on the cancer and what I had to do, I said, well, I'm going to focus on something positive for the future. So I said, well, I'm an ultramarathon athlete. What can I do to help raise funds so other people are not in my position? So I started planning on the first day of chemo. I started planning to become the first woman to run around Australia. We started again on the 27th of March 2010, and we went west this time. And when we went right up the west coast and when we got to Darwin, we became the first dog and the first female to ever run the entire distance around Australia. Maggie's shared my cancer journey. I got Maggie just before I got cancer, so she's actually part of my journey all the way. When I was going through cancer, she actually came into the oncology awards and helped, sat with me while I went through chemo. And to me, it's about giving hope and inspiration to not only breast cancer survivors, I just happen to have breast cancer, but to all cancer people, that there is, a life out there during your treatment and a really amazing life afterwards.
You can follow Deborah and Maggie's journey by visiting her website. St Patrick's Day celebrations are continuing with the National Museum of Australia's exhibition, Not Just Ned, The True History of the Irish in Australia. The showcase includes the award-winning works of UOW journalism lecturer Siobhan McHugh.
Well, one of the recordings is about the Irish who worked on the Snowy Mountains scheme, which was, of course, a massive hydroelectric post-war construction project. The other theme is what I've just done my doctoral thesis on. It's about sectarianism, religious prejudice in Australia. So if an Irish Catholic married an English Protestant person in Australia, there were ructions very often in the families, and there were terrible family feuds, and I've charted all this in oral histories, and they're part of the exhibition. I think the interesting thing here was the dynamic that the Irish were here as a minority of about 25% from day one of settled Australian history. So the Irish were able to be part of the shaping process. The anti-authority stuff, the larrikinism, the sense of humour, the cutting down tall poppies, all of those traits are also equally traceable to Ireland.
And finally, UOW Cares, the university's workplace giving program that allows uni staff to direct some of their pay to nominated charities, is back in action and looking for contributions.
UOW Cares is the staff workplace giving program. This is its 4th year that we're in, and it's a program where staff can donate pre-tax from their salaries into 12 designated charities of their choice. At the moment we're running a membership campaign, so throughout the year we run different sort of campaigns, and it's to encourage staff who can't donate on a regular basis, that they can donate on a one-off basis, or if they wanted to join, this is a reason to do it. So we're offering a little bit of an incentive. So anyone that donates in the time period can go into the draw for a $250 uni shop, an 11 gift voucher, and also $250 will go to their preferred charities. So, and there's also an executive car park as well, so that's a nice little prize.
And that's UOW Update for week 4. I'm Adrian Arciuli. From all of us here at UOW TV, have a great week.